Hey guys, what's up? Tori here. So this video I'm gonna talk about my mission trip I took this summer to the Bahamas. So I'll try and make it not too long so it's not boring. But anyways, this past summer from June 18 to June 25, kinda 26, I took a mission trip to Nassau, Bahamas through Next Step Ministries with my youth group to work at the All Saints camp down there, which is basically a camp for those with AIDS and like other like illnesses, like mental illnesses, physical illnesses, things like that as well. So we left on June 18. We left my church on June 18. We met at my church at 9 o'clock and got a send off, and then we went and stayed. Um, our flight was from the Detroit airport, which, okay, yeah, I live in Michigan. So what? There's a bazillion cities in Michigan. But yeah, so we were gonna leave from the Detroit airport, and we decided that instead of like because we had to be there by like 3:30 in the morning, instead of like wasting time there, we would just uh leave from or go to my youth pastor's in-laws house. And my youth pastor's name is Brian, and then there were two other youth leaders, his sister Beth, and then another youth leader named Amy. Were with us, and then there were 11, including me, there were 11 students total. And we said that we'd stay at his in-laws, and so that we could just swim at the, because they have like a big in-ground swimming pool, so we could swim and stuff. So we just hung out there. We went to bed about 8, 9 o'clock, so we could be up by 2. So yeah, then the following morning we woke up at 2 a.m. so we could leave the house by 2:30 and get to the airport by 3:30, which we did. We at perfect time. We got to the airport and we loaded our baggage away and whatnot. And then we went and we went through security, all that jazz. Then we went and boarded our airplane, and there were only 3 students out of all of us that had flown before, and I was not one of those 3. So it was kind of nerve-wracking that first flight. I sat with Malachi and Allie, 2 other kids in my group, and we sat there. We were like chewing our gum nervously, holding hands. We were like, oh my gosh, this is so scary. But then like, once it actually happened, we were all of a sudden like, that was actually kind of fun. So then flying ended up not being so bad. And it was actually pretty fun. So yeah, it was about, we had a flight from Detroit to Fort Lauderdale. So that flight was about 2.5 hours roughly. And then we landed in Fort Lauderdale and we had lunch and stuff. And we had a 5-hour layover, which was really boring. We played a lot of cards. But yeah, once our 5-hour layover was done, then we boarded a plane from Fort Lauderdale to Nassau, Bahamas. And we landed in Nassau, I think like around 4:30ish is when we landed. Which we actually were originally gonna end up being there by like 2:30. And so yeah, our plane got delayed by 2 hours, which kinda sucked. But what can you do? So yeah. And then let's see. So yeah, we were then met by we got our bags at the airport, and then we went through customs and all that. And then we were met by the Next Step staff, or at least 3 of the Next Step staff. We were met by Amelia, Sydney, and Becca. And they met us, and they brought us and our baggage out to the bus, who was driven by a lovely bus driver, Mr. Smith. Most craziest, hilarious guy you'll ever meet. He was so fun, so amazing. He had like this fun CD that we sang songs to. It was awesome. He was a really, really great guy. He was so fun to be with throughout the whole week. But yeah, so then we went to a retreat center where we stayed at, and we got settled in, guys' room, girls' room. We got all settled. And then there was one other group besides our group that was down there, and they were a group from Georgia, so we met them. And then we also met Jose and John, who were from Florida, just kind of two random stranglers, and or stragglers, sorry. And then we also met the rest of the Next Step staff, which was Heather, Tree, Barrick, Reese, and Maple. those were the 5 others, other than Amelia, Sydney, and Becca. So we met them, and then we ate dinner, and we went to bed because we were very, very tired. Oh, we did have praise and worship too. Then the next day was our very first day of work. And we woke up at 7, ate breakfast, made our lunches, did morning devos, and loaded the bus and went to the All Saints camp. And pulling up, it was so heartbreaking. I mean, the place was just run down, falling apart, in really bad shape, and it was so sad, so heartbreaking to see. And it was really, really hot and humid. It was like 95 plus degrees with like 100% humidity. Ugh. It was really hot, but we like, when we saw how bad it was, we were just like, okay, we have to work. We got to get this done. And so we were divided all into our groups, and the group I was in, we were building a house for a guy named Garvin, who has really bad cerebral palsy, and he's confined to bed, and his home is just falling apart, smells is dirty, nasty, gross. And he's confined to bed, so he goes to the bathroom in bed too. So it's really sad and heartbreaking. He just really needed a new home. So we met him though, but he always just had a smile on his face. He was so great. He just had an unbelievable love for God. I mean, you would think someone like him wouldn't have that love for God, but he did, and he was so happy all the time, and just always had a big ear-to-ear grin. He was so great. But yeah, pretty much for his house, the foundation was already done and built, and what my group did that week is we built the walls and put them up, and then put the siding on the walls. That was what our mission was for the week, and we did get that done. That first day, we got the first 2 walls put up. And I also met another resident named Miss Moxie, who she actually impacted me the most while I was there, and I got to know her really, really well. Miss Moxie has been at the camp for a really long time. I'm not sure how old she is, but she's an older lady. Super, super skinny, lives a, teeny tiny, nasty, dirty home. She's paralyzed from the waist down because she was in an accident. And she also has AIDS, which is really sad. She has pretty bad AIDS, and she's just super skinny, and she is also confined to bed, so she also goes back in bed. So her house just like reeks of urine, and it's just so sad and heartbreaking. But you walk in, and she just like puts her hands up, and she's praising God, and she had a little saying above her doorway that said, "Be thankful for every day," and like, she lived by that. Like, she was thankful every single day, and she always pulled out her Bible and a little devotional book called Jesus Calling, and I actually have that book at home. But I didn't tell her that at that time it was just sitting on my shelf collecting dust. But like, it just was amazing. Like, she lives this crap life. She's pretty much been just like shoved aside, and she just had this unbelievable love for God. And like, I just didn't get it. Like, I couldn't fathom how she could praise God and be thankful every day when she lives in such conditions. But I sat and read her Bible with her and read that devotional with her every day, along with the work. And some other residents that I met, Natasha, older lady, has AIDS really bad. Sophie, she has AIDS really bad. She only has half a foot. That's how bad her AIDS. 1.5 of her feet had to get amputated. And then she has a little daughter named Asia, who's like 1, and I'm pretty sure Asia has AIDS too. I really don't know for sure, but. And then there's my car racing buddy, Glenroy. We gave him a Matchbox car and a couple of Matchbox cars, and I raced him all the time, and he beat me every stinking time. It sucked. But yeah, he's 6 years old, little kitty, so much fun. And then Sasha, she was 5 years old, crazy little wild girl, awesome, has AIDS. I'm pretty sure like all the kids have AIDS. And then Coco, that little girl can dance. She is 6 years old. Also just fun, amazing little girl. And then I also met Paulette. She has some mental problems. I'm not sure if she has AIDS. I think she does, but I really don't know. But yeah, she was very sweet, very fun. And then there was James, and he has AIDS, and he also has some mental problems, but his like mental problems like come and go. But the week we were there, he didn't like have any mental problems. He was just normal. But he does have AIDS, but he's also a very just like unbelievably spiritual guy. He sings praises all the time. He's so cool. So yeah, those were some of the other residents I met. Pretty much like 90% of the residents have AIDS. I think there are a few that don't, but I think the majority of them do, which is really sad. And it's heartbreaking to see. Which I just wanted us to work, like, all the more, because, like, we wanted to make their lives a little bit better. But, yeah. So, our routine was pretty much the same every day. Wednesday, that night, me and my youth group, we did a foot washing thing. We prayed for each other and stuff. And then we went around and like, just as my youth group, we went and, like, told each other, like, our biggest sin that keeps us from God. And when I told my youth pastor mine, he told me what I needed to do, but, like, I don't know, I struggled with it all night. I tossed and turned about it all night. But the next day, Miss Moxie kind of helped me realize that, you know, she lives an awful life. But yet she's able to praise God with every fiber in her being. And she's thankful for every day. And it's like, if Miss Moxie can do that, then why can't I? I mean, she has an unbelievable faith. And my faith has definitely dwindled. And I have a better life than what she does. And it just kind of hit me that, like, this is what it's about. It doesn't matter what it is you struggle with. It's just have God in your heart and He can help you through it. And Miss Moxie helped me see that. And now every single day I read that devotional that I read with her and I read my Bible. I have gotten a little off track with it since school started, but I'm going to hopefully get back into it a little because I really need to. But yeah, so Miss Moxie helped me with that. And James also, I went and visited him on our last day of work, which is the Thursday. And he told me that he thinks God has big plans for me because me and him talked forever that Thursday. And that really just kind of, like, topped it off because that was, like, right at the end of the day. And that was great. And so we did get Garvin's, all the walls and signing up on Garvin's house, which we felt so accomplished. And that was great. And then that Friday was our fun day. We had fun. We went to the beach. We went shopping. We went to the Atlantis Resort and walked around there. And that was just a really fun day. And then we left Saturday early afternoon to fly back. And we, again, had another, like, 5-hour layover in Fort Lauderdale. Then flew from Fort Lauderdale to Detroit. And then we drove back home from there. And the whole trip just was so amazing. I mean, I think everybody that was there, and it was just so spiritually enriching. And just, Miss Moxie did so much for me that, like, she probably doesn't even know. It was such an amazing trip. And, like, I don't take anything for granted anymore. And I'm definitely thankful every day and for everything that I have, because I definitely realized how truly blessed that I am here at home versus, because they have, like, nothing down there. So, yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, that's my trip to the Bahamas. If you have any other questions for me about it, feel free to message me, comment on the video, and thank you for everything. Comment, rate, subscribe.